This is the worst part about filming in the summer. The AC goes off, y'all. It is so freaking hot in New York City right now. I'm drenched in sweat. My hair is just impossible. Nothing's happening with it. But we moved. My apartment is a complete mess right now. I tried to like clean it up, but I think you can still see a little bit of the mess. Today's video is gonna be all about meditation. For the last 4 months, specifically during quarantine, I have been super consistent with my meditating. That was something at the very beginning that I was like, okay, now I have the time, I don't have any excuses, like I am going to meditate, I'm going to make this a habit. And I'm very proud of myself because it's not easy by any means. It takes a lot of willpower because I'm still really bad at it. A little bit of background with me and meditating. I'm really bad at meditating. I've tried to do it like consistently multiple times and I've fallen off the wagon time and time again. I used to try to meditate in the morning and was kind of in and out with it. I'm a personal trainer, so I go to work normally at like 5:30, 6 a.m.-ish, and it's really hard to meditate at like 4:30, 5 a.m. and not fall asleep. So then I decided to try something new and start meditating like in the middle of the day. So I'm not really sure what my plan is when I go back to work, but that's just kind of like my background with it. Just could never really be consistent, couldn't really fit it into my schedule. So today I'm gonna share with you what I have found, what works and what doesn't work, little tricks and hacks and resources that I've come up with along the way. So stay tuned, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and enjoy the video. Number one is that practice makes better. So I will not say that practice makes perfect by any means, but meditating is not about being perfect, which is something that I really had to let go of. It's okay if you get distracted from time to time. That is completely normal. When I started off, I was really bad at focusing. Like every 2 seconds I had to refocus on my breath, like really bad. I couldn't sit still. I couldn't just keep my mind from wandering. I'm one of those people where my internal alarm goes off pretty early in the morning. I'm definitely a morning person, and as soon as my internal alarm goes off, I am like up and at 'em, ready for the day. I am off and rolling. So trying to like calm that first thing in the morning was really difficult for me, but it's definitely something you can train and something that you can practice. So I had to find a time of day that really works well for me because, like I said, first thing in the morning I am like up and rolling. So I don't meditate like first thing. I get up and I make my coffee, I do some stretching, and after I've kind of gotten up and gone through the day a little bit, let my mind kind of think about the things that it's going to think about, then I meditate. So it's in my morning routine. I still meditate in the morning, but I do have like a few things that I do before I really sit down and meditate. The other thing that I do in the morning is that I set up I don't know how to say it, like an environment for meditating. I meditate in the exact same spot every single day. I have my book, my journal, I put my earphones in. So I just kind of like have a little routine that I do so that my body knows that like it's time to do the thing, you know? Because sometimes I feel like my mind is just like on to the next, thinking of the to-do list, already getting anxious about the day. So setting up the steps to get there, it's kind of like a bedtime routine, you know? Like sometimes you're not sleepy, but if you go through your bedtime routine, you get sleepy by the end of it. Same thing with meditating. Just set up like a couple of steps that you do before then. Number two, like anything, consistency is key, but I think the big thing is that it's consistency over anything else. So what I mean by that is like some days I'll sit down and like put my earphones in, do a guided meditation, and I am like in it, like for 10 minutes, for almost 10 minutes straight, a little, you know, my mind wanders here and there, but for the most part, like I'm there. And other days, not so much, but I'm still showing up and still trying and giving it my best. So putting it in your routine and just being consistent with it, even if it's not the most like amazing meditation, but just showing up and doing the work is gonna get you so much further than just feeling like, I'm not in the mood, I'll just skip it today. And for me, no matter if it was the best meditation or the worst meditation, afterwards I still felt like I was in a better mood and still felt more productive, even on the days that I couldn't sit still and I couldn't stop my mind from like making my to-do list. Honestly, those are the days that I would sit with it a little bit longer, or at least try to, and it would just put me in such a better mood and felt like I had taken a step back and I was ready to conquer the day. So similar to what I just said, number three is that 5 minutes just probably isn't enough. I feel like at the beginning of my meditation journey, I was a big fan of like Anywho, yeah, so at the beginning of my meditation journey, I felt like 3 to 5 minutes was so great, it was so fast, and I felt like I could just like get it over with really quick. But I really wasn't getting the most out of it, and I actually feel like that's the reason that I couldn't be consistent with it. Like I couldn't stay on meditating every day because I wasn't really getting anything out of it from just doing 5 minutes. Honestly, the first 5 minutes normally is me being fidgety and getting comfortable and not being able to focus. So it takes me about 5 minutes to just get into it in the first place. So when I was limiting my meditation to only 5 minutes, I never even got into the zone because I was just taking those first few minutes to like settle into it initially. That could be totally different for someone else. That's just my own personal experience. And when I started adding more time and dedicating more time to the actual meditation, that's when I really started to notice the benefits, and that's when it became easier for me to make it part of a routine and just something I did every day. Because when I started feeling the benefits, it made me like want to keep going and want to keep doing it every day. So I'm really not good at staying focused, but I've slowly worked my way up to 15 minutes, and it is still very rough, but the difference between 5 minutes and 10 minutes or even 15 minutes is like totally night and day for me. So if you feel like 5 minutes you just aren't into it, like it's just not doing anything for you, that would be the big thing, is that doing it a little bit longer and giving yourself those first few minutes to really get into it. That's made a huge difference for me and gives me enough time that I can get distracted and still come back to the meditation and don't really feel like I'm missing anything. This one's a pretty new one for me, but I just started journaling not while meditating, but pairing journaling and meditation together in my morning routine, and that is like magic. So if you already journal, try adding a meditation. If you already meditate, try adding a journal. If you don't do either, try doing like 10 minutes of both, or 10 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of journaling, just 15 minutes in the morning, and you can really get a lot out of it. I've been reading this book, Don't Just Sit There, recently, and she suggests using a journal. So it's just since I've started reading this that I've actually started journaling with it, but I found a lot of success in that, and it gives you a place to actually like let out the thoughts that may have come to you during meditation. Sometimes I even journal before I meditate, and it just gives me an opportunity to list the things that I want to ask for in the meditation that day. Again, that's by the suggestion of this book. She kind of gives you journaling prompts. So like I always read this first, so depending on what the prompt is, that will depend if I journal or meditate first. For me, I've just gotten so much more out of it when I journal my thoughts as well as meditate. That is what helped me realize that like 5 minutes isn't working, because I'm able to write down my thoughts and really like figure out what's working and what's not. Journaling has just been extremely helpful in general for me. I've never been consistent with journaling either, so this is new for me as well. And I've just found a lot of clarity with pairing those two together. So bouncing off of that a little bit, your meditation does not need to look the same every day. So I feel like at first I really thought that I needed to like sit crisscross and have my hands up. Don't need to do that. That just never worked for me. It just never felt comfortable for me. But once I kind of took the pressure away from journaling, I don't know why I'm like flinging this around, but once I took the pressure off of that, that's when I really feel like I started getting more out of the meditation. Some days I do a guided meditation, some days I just listen to music, some days I sit on my couch, sometimes I move and I just do more of like a yoga flow. Some mornings, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really meditate, but I'll just sit there and like do a puzzle on my phone or something like that, where it just gives me an opportunity to zone out and not think about everything that's going on in my life and the world and just start getting stressed, and actually take a second to step back and just, you know, not think about anything, zone out. So it doesn't have to look the same every day, and it does not need to look like a typical meditation. It's something for you. It can look like whatever you want it to look like. For a long time, I felt pressured that meditation looked a certain way. Not pressure, that's not the right way to say it, but I just felt like if I wasn't meditating like this, I wasn't doing it right. But that's not a really good way to look at it. It's just whatever's gonna make you feel your best. Zone out for a couple minutes out of the day. Like I said, it can look like whatever you want it to look like. It can look like a prayer, it can look like yoga, it can look like a puzzle, it can look like your typical meditation. Finding what works for you, and then also being able to be flexible from day to day and switch it up, because some days I'm just not in the mood to, I don't know, some days I'm just in a different mood and I just want to do different stuff. I think something else you could do is just listen to music in the morning and actually listen to it. Like, don't listen to music and do other stuff, but just sit there and listen to it. Make it your own. It's for you. It can look like whatever you want it to look like. Y'all are gonna be surprised by this one. But number 6, the last thing that I really found out from meditating consistently is that it freaking works. Mental health is not linear. It's not like one day you're not great and the next day is awesome. Like, it doesn't work like this. Mental health, you make progress like this, if that makes sense. Like, each point is a different thing, and not every day. It's not gonna be like from point A to point B. It's gonna move up and down, side to side, but it will get better as long as you stay consistent with it. And for me, meditation, it just took a minute to get into, but it really has just made it easier to feel calmer and to like access that point of calmness, I guess. Like, now I feel like when I'm faced with something stressful, especially like I live in New York, there are stressful people literally everywhere. But ever since I've been meditating a little bit more consistently, I feel like even when I'm faced with those moments of anxiety or whatever it is, I just have the ability to access that moment of calmness that I find first thing in the morning. And the other big thing is that I've been able to shift my perspective a lot faster. Normally, I find myself getting very caught up in my emotions, and I'm not gonna say that that doesn't happen from time to time, because of course it does. But now I feel like I have the ability to really look at it from all angles, to look at it more objectively. I think that that's a mix of journaling for sure and meditation. Being able to look at things from an objective point of view for me is just very important, and just makes me feel a little bit more in control and a little bit more like, it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna work out. I just need to like calm down a little bit and trust that the universe is gonna take care of me. And meditation has really, really allowed me to do that and to just let go. I have a couple of resources for you guys that I feel like have really helped me in my meditation journey. So initially I used Headspace, and I really like Headspace. I think it's one of the best meditation apps out there, but it's $15 a month, I think. 15 or 12, hold on. Okay, so Headspace is $12.99 a month, and I just found that to be a little expensive, so I didn't want to be paying that much monthly. So if you can afford it, I really, really liked the app, but I just couldn't justify paying for that. Recently, I came back across this app called Insight Timer that I used to use a lot, probably like a year ago, I think. Yeah, a year ago when I was on the meditation train a year ago, I used this app a lot, and I like it because you just get like a ding in the beginning and a ding at the end, so you don't have much music in between. I don't know if they've changed it since then, or if I don't know, wasn't aware of this, but so you can do the timer and you can like change the sounds. This is the one I have. Oh. However long you want. You can do ambient sounds in the background, interval bells if you want to do like every 5 minutes, it tells you where you are. So then I've been doing these recently too. They have guided meditations on there. I've been doing these and I really like them. And this app is completely free, by the way, so this is like amazing. I really like this. They have sleeping ones, which I have not done, music. You can do actual courses on there, and then they have these talks, which I haven't listened to either, but I think they're like, I don't know, just different like TED Talks, kind of like in that realm of things. So I really, really love this app, especially the fact that it's free. That is just so nice and very accessible. So again, that's called Insight Timer, and I really, really like that one. If you're more into music, I've been listening to these two Spotify playlists recently, and I really, really love both of them. The first one is called Chill Yoga Beats, and the second one is called Vinyasa Flow. I'll put what they look like up on the screen, but both of them I'm really into. I don't like super boring music. I like stuff with more of a beat to it, and so both these playlists are really, really great. And then as far as books go, I picked this up a couple years ago, and I feel like it's just a good way to get some like very simple mindfulness throughout your day. So this is called Mindfulness on the Go, and it just has little exercises. One of them is like brush your teeth with the opposite hand that you normally do. So like I'm right-handed, so I brush with my left teeth. With my left teeth, oh my god. So I brush it with my left hand. So if you're just looking for like little things to get more centered throughout the day, or just more focused on the activity that you're doing, this is a really good resource for that. For my people who are not big readers, Don't Just Sit There is one of the best like wellness, I guess, like self-improvement books I've ever read. I really like it because you just read one chapter at a time. So the way that she does it, oh my god. The first chapter is called Forrest Gump is for the Soul. How can you not like this book? So she'll do like the law of identification, the law of blank. Each chapter is a different law. And then she kind of talks about like what it is, gives some examples of it. This is honestly a long chapter. They're normally not even that long. So then she does live above the law, gives you a little bit more insight on how you can live above it, and then verification point, and that's when she gives you like your journaling or meditation prompts for that day. So I really loved this book. Again, especially if you're not a big reader, it's just a few pages every morning. Really an easy read. She's a really excellent author and it's very enjoyable. So that's really all the stuff that I have for you guys. If you're thinking about meditating, do it. You know, try to do it for the next 30 days and just see how you feel. I definitely suggest journaling. Like I said, I've noticed so much more of what works and what doesn't work when I'm actually writing it down and writing about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and you can follow me on Instagram at Jane K. Simmons, and I will see you guys in my next video. I'll see you guys on Monday.